What's going on, everyone? My name's Kyle, and today's video is going to be about finding the right supplier on Alibaba for your new Amazon FBA product. So once you've found the right product that you want to add to your Amazon online store, you next need to find the right supplier for you to supply that product to you. My biggest recommendation is to go to Alibaba.com. They have a bunch of different suppliers that you can go through and contact, and they also have a bunch of different ways of vetting the different suppliers. So the main three ones that you'll find on the website, they're little boxes that you can check. It's Gold Supplier, Assessed Supplier, and then Trade Assurance. So basically what that means is that Gold Supplier is an amount of years. Usually it'll be like Gold Supplier and then for like ×4 or 7-year Gold Supplier. And basically what that means is that they've been selling on the site for that many years. So usually those suppliers are more reliable because they've been doing it longer. If their store is still selling for that long, they haven't had that many complaints with Alibaba. So that gives you kind of more comfort knowing that they have been doing this for a while and they're not going to scam you. The other box is Assess Supplier, which basically means that a third party has gone in and checked the supplier's warehouses and stuff like that to make sure that they're 100% legit and they are who they say they are. And then the last is Trade Assurance, which means that Alibaba can facilitate the transaction of payment, so you don't have to worry about losing your money by just wiring it to them or giving them some kind of direct cash line. You can give it to Alibaba, and then they'll kind of hold the product. That way you don't just send someone money and then it just disappears and they just leave. So usually you won't have to worry about that with suppliers that are Gold suppliers, just because they've been on the site for a while. So it's really unlikely that they would do that and then just abandon their years and years of people's like earned respect for being on the site for so long. It would be uncommon for that to happen. But that's just an extra layer of protection for you as the buyer of the goods. So once you have those things checked and you're searching for your product online, sometimes if you have all of those checked, there won't be a lot of suppliers that meet those demands. So I would at least just recommend doing the Gold Supplier. So I recently started a new product for my Amazon FBA store, and I wanted to go through just what is needed for contacting these different suppliers. So when I first contact the suppliers, I send them an email or over their message system. Basically, I'll read off my sample email that I send. So I say, "Hello, my name's Kyle Dunning. I run an e-commerce store through Amazon in the United States, and I'm looking to add your product to my online store. Could you please provide me a quotation for the following?" And then I'll put in the amount of units, how much it costs to add a UPC code to be printed or stickered on the package, which basically is a barcode that Amazon will use once it gets to their warehouses. And then also my business logo or name to be stickered or printed onto the package. And then air shipping or air or sea shipping, maybe both, so you have an idea of how much it costs for each, to the US. You could give them just a random place in the US just for general quotations, and then narrow it down later on once you've found a decent price. And it just being cordial, just could you please include the estimated manufacturing time as well as shipping time, and thank you so much. I look forward to working with you. And then once you have that kind of set up, you can send it to multiple different suppliers so you have an idea of who will give you the best price. So I went through, I recommend doing at least 10 different suppliers. And the reason I say that is because I have a spreadsheet here, and I basically listed the 10 different suppliers that I contacted, and so that all of their names are right there. I was asking for 300 units of the product that I'm putting into my store, and then I asked all the other questions. And so this is what I came back with. So as you can see on the bottom 4, I didn't even get a response. So that could be because of Chinese New Year, but from my past experience, I've just realized that a lot of them won't respond sometimes. They don't have a great response rate. So it's always important to just get a lot, just because sometimes some of them won't even respond. And it's important to get your product out as soon as possible. So send out these emails to as many of them as you can. On top of that, you can look, the cost per unit that I was given in general was kind of all over the place. You would expect it to be kind of consistent because everyone's costs are generally the same, but they know that most people aren't going to be sending multiple messages to different people. They'll just send maybe one or two, and they know they can get away with charging these higher prices. So as you can see, the first one, 265. The second one, they were trying to charge me $350. I messaged them again and said, I can't do that. It's too high. And they immediately dropped it down to $3. And then I said, I'm getting bids for lower than that. I'm like, oh, okay, we can do $275. And it's like, that's a huge, significant discount from what they originally were doing. So it's definitely important to realize that some of these suppliers are trying to, more or less try to screw you over at the price that they're giving you. So that doesn't mean to be rude or harsh, but just, have that in the back of your head. Be skeptical of the prices that people are giving you. Because you can see, most of the other ones were in the high twos range, 265, 290, and then generally shipping was all, in the mid 400s. But one of my suppliers gave me a quotation for under $2, $1.97. It ended up coming out to be, which is significantly lower than some of these others. I mean, imagine if I had only messaged Alice, number 2, and just been like, oh, okay, $350, that seems reasonable. And then that's almost double the other supplier's rate. So it's definitely really important to contact a bunch of different suppliers, because if I just happened to not have sent Sunny that message, I would have probably gone with one of the 291 and just thought, okay, that makes sense. Like, everyone's kind of giving me the same price. That's probably the best price that they can give me. When in reality, most of them are, overinflating their prices to try to get that extra money from you. One thing with the supplier that gave me the 197 was that so they gave me 2 different shipping options. One was a 3 to 6 day shipping option, and the other was like 18-day shipping. And because I want to start the product up quicker, I'm going to go with the $489 option. So, the extra $70 or $80 that it's going to cost me there is fine, just because I'll be able to start up quicker. And then my next batch, I'll go with the cheaper option. That way I can save money, and I'll still be selling things online for that specific product. They also charged me, I have extra as a column, because most of them won't charge for the UPC code labeled on, stickered on, or your specific business label. This specific supplier did want to charge me $50 for putting it on the product itself, which is fine. Usually they'll just sticker it on the outside for free, but it definitely looks cleaner having your business logo directly on the product, and it kind of gives you that brand presence for the product. And then generally, when you have that brand presence, people are willing to pay more money for it because it seems more legit and not a generic brand. So that $50, even with that $50, it ends up being for the more expensive of the 2, it was $1,100 compared to the next cheapest, which was an extra $150 more than that. And then even the cheaper version with the cheaper shipping was $1,050, which is significantly lower. That one that was $350 per unit ended up being $1,500 in total. So it's $450, which isn't in itself a huge amount, but when you're scaling up down the road, as a percentage, that's what is that? 50% of Sunny's, or the number 4 supplier's cost. So it's a huge increase in what you're paying when you don't properly contact these suppliers and get bids, competing bids. And then I have at the far right, total per unit. The cheaper one is $350. The most expensive one was just under $5. So, right there, if you're making an extra $1.50 per unit, just because you took the time to message more suppliers, it's well worth it. Especially if your margins aren't that big to begin with. $1.50 on a $15 product. I mean, if you sell 300 of them, that's an extra $450 in your pocket. So I just wanted to make this video to really stress the importance of doing your research, contacting a bunch of suppliers, and if I happen to not have messaged that one supplier, it could have, I could have been losing a ton of money down the road. On top of that, I only did 10, but a lot of these didn't even respond. So luckily enough for this product, there is a lot of suppliers. So I am kind of still contacting more suppliers just to see if anyone will give me a better deal. Most of them won't. So I'll probably end up going with the $1.97 per unit cost. But just be aware that it really makes a difference when you are messaging all these different suppliers, and save yourself money down the line, gives yourself more room for error when you're selling on Amazon. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure when you're messaging on those suppliers that you're just very cordial and nice to them, because a lot of times if you're kind of trying to be hard and get a good deal, that's a huge turnoff for a lot of these Chinese businesses, because respect is like huge in their culture. So just don't try to come off hard and like a hard bargainer, because a lot of times you're just shooting yourself in the foot, and they're not going to want to do business with you, or they'll be charging you more down the line. Maybe they'll give you a cheaper price for per unit, but then they're just going to charge you double, let's say, in shipping, just because you're being a dick. So make sure you're nice, be super formal with your email exchanges, and hopefully if you contact enough of these suppliers, you can get a great deal. Thanks.